Hello guys, this is part 3 for What If Naruto Was in High School DxD. Let's start. Issei and Yuto stared at their opponents calculatingly and prepared to fight when need. Well, that was on Yuto's mind. In Issei's mind, he can't wait to see those wondrous figures of two maidens underneath those heavy cloaks. Just thinking about that, his expression has turned lecherous with him knowing about that. From aside, Rias and Aquino noticed Issei's change of expression and sighed at his perverse mature. The sigh came from Rias, while Aquino was giggling amusingly. Kaneko gained a deadpan look on her face when she looked at Issei. Naruto is the only one with neutral face. He finds Issei interesting, and now he wants to know why. Okay, harem kutai. Show me how Seker Utai fight. Naruto exclaimed and crossed his hands. Issei turned to Naruto with fire of passion in his eyes. He pointed at Naruto and shouted, "Yosha! Now I am gonna show you how I fight, emotionless hero. Behold the power of Bucho's pawn." Just as he finished that statement, Irina has charged at him with her Excalibur mimic. She aimed at his stomach, but Issei managed to jump back to avoid, though barely, as her attack gave him a tear on his shirt. Issei looked down at the tear and sighed in relief. That was close. But Irina continued to assault him, which caused Issei to dodge every slash. Meanwhile, Yuto and Zenovia have their own battle. Yuto activated his sword birth, which piqued Zenovia's interest. Sword birth? I remember that there was a subject that has such sacred gear in the Holy Sword Project. I see. So that was you, stated Zenovia, and unclothed her Excalibur destruction. At the sight of the sword, Yuto began to laugh out loud. Zenovia, hearing his laugh, narrowed her eyes and wondered. You are laughing? Yes. Because after so long I finally found something that I must destroy, replied Yuto, and picked up one of the sword created by sword birth. Zenovia rushes forward with her Excalibur destruction and engaged Yuto. Yuto intercepted the strike, but he was barely holding it off. He was forced to jump back to analyze the situation. Even if it is only a fragment of the original Excalibur, the power of it is still bothersome. To destroy all 7 won't be so easy. We are at disadvantage here. Just a scratch from a holy sword is enough to harm a devil badly, commented Aquino, and embraced her waist as she observed the battle. Yuto can compensate the disadvantage with the knight's speed. But Issei. Rias comment, but when Irina's sword accidentally clashed with his gauntlet, nothing happened. His left hand already belongs to a dragon, so holy swords won't work on his left arm anymore, replied Naruto, analyzing the battle. Then he glanced at the battle between Yuto and Zenovia. Kiba-san may have speed, but Zenovia-san has more experience. After all, she was trained to fight with holy swords since she was little after all. Rias was about to refute, but must admit that Naruto was right. Both Yuto and Issei still have little experience in a battle, much like herself and Aquino. Rias then turned to her second knight and wondered. Just how could he analyze the result of the battle from quickly by just observing it for some minute? Issei has held off against Irina for a while. The girl started to feel irritated and pouted. Why are you so strong, Issei-kun? You shouldn't be this strong. I am not the same Issei that you know anymore. And will prove to you that with my next attack, declared Issei and pointed at Irina. In response to his words, Boost Gear screamed. Boost. Issei gripped his fist tightly with fire in his eyes. Explosion. Issei's body was covered by green energy from his sacred gear. He even revealed his devil wings. He began to charge at Irina with a pervert smirk. Irina looked innocently at her childhood friend and wondered what he planned. But her instincts told her to avoid Issei's touch at all cost. Dress break. Kaneko decided to speak for the first time since the battle start. Be careful, Irina-san. Issei-senpai can rip off any female clothes to nothing with mere touch. When saying this, Kaneko has a deadpan look. Aura. Why are you helping the enemy, Kaneko-chan? Issei shouted at Kaneko. Because you are the enemy of all females, Kaneko replied, her deadpan expression remain on her face. What a horrible and pervert move, Issei-kun. I see that you weren't just being turned to a devil, but your heart is being tainted as well, Irina gasped and held her heart dramatically. Then she clasped her hands to pray. Oh Kami-sama. Please forgive such a pervert like Issei-kun. But Naruto seems to have different thought about Issei's pervert technique. He nodded curtly to himself and muttered analytically. Naruhodo. This technique was created to steal modesty from females as they worried about it very much. And when they tried to cover their modesty, you can knock them out with one move. As expected of Seker Uti. Ria's sweat dropped, then turned to Naruto with deadpan eyes. How the heck he turned Issei's technique by his comment to a useful technique? Meanwhile, Yuto has difficulty with Zenobia. Surely he was faster, but his speed is useless, because that Excalibur could create explosion if the user desired. But he won't give up so easily. With Sword Birth, Yuto created a huge demonic sword and declared, your strength is impressive. But how about now? Your Excalibur destruction or my demonic blade? Let's see who will win. Yuto charged at Zenobia, but it seems the weight of the blade is too much for him and slowed him down a bit. But that was all Zenobia need. She sidesteps Yuto's slash and hit him with sword guard, which knocked the air out of Yuto. Yuto! Rias exclaimed worriedly. Yuto fell to the ground and glared at Zenobia from his position. Zenobia looked down at Yuto coldly and mocked. I won, senpai. With that, Zenobia turned her back and started to walk away. But she stopped and glanced back at Yuto from the corner of her eyes. I will at least tell you this. The one in charge on that inhuman project was Valper Galilei. And the one that helped him in that matter was a rogue exorcist. They both were exiled and considered heretics. Your hatred towards all holy sword users are ridiculous. After those words, Zenobia walked away carelessly. W8. Yuto gasped and raised his hand to reach out at Zenobia. With Issei. Issei tried to use his dress break on Irina, but she was too swift for him. In the end, Issei failed to rip off her clothes, but accidentally destroyed Kaneko and Asia's clothes, which earned him a super powerful punch from Kaneko. Rias immediately covered Naruto's eyes with her hands when Kaneko and Asia were stripped naked. Akino actually looked amused, seeing how Rias covered Naruto's eyes so that he won't be able to see them naked. It seems Rias didn't have a problem with Naruto seeing her naked. But she was against for him to see other girls' birthday suits. How interesting. Irina pitied her childhood friend, so she sat down and lectured him with her cute voice. Don't do it ever again, okay? Your perverseness will only bring more pain to your life. Like hell, muttered Issei and began to stand up slowly. Then he looked up with fire of passion in his eyes and shouted. Like hell I will stop. My goal is to destroy all female clothes in the world. Then all females will walk around naked. That was the ultimate goal that I am striving to. Irina's sweat dropped and deadpanned. How can you set about such a horrible goal with self-righteous expression? You are really a hopeless pervert. Naruto's eyes were still being covered by Ria's hands. What the heck is wrong with this girl? She didn't have a problem with him looks at her naked, but she refused to let him see the other girls naked. Oju-sama, I think you can uncover my eyes now. Seeing that Akino has brought out new clothes for Asia and Kaneko. Rias uncovered his eyes, but decided to stay by Naruto's side. Naruto turned to Rias with a boring look. Why did you cover my eyes, Oju-sama? Because you was about to see Asia and Kaneko naked, Rias replied simply. Naruto's sweat dropped at her reasoning. So it's okay for me to see you naked, but not other girls? I am your Oju-sama. Therefore you must look only at me. And if there is a body that you can look at naked, then it is mine, Rias replied, and flicking her crimson hair to the wind. Naruto looked deadpanned at Rias and refute. Since when servants allowed seeing their masters naked, You Urusai. Why do you even complain about that? Maybe you actually want to see Asia and Kaneko naked? Perhaps you are a closet pervert. Rias stampeded at Naruto's remark and began to accuse him. Now where did that come from? You know well enough that I am not a pervert, Naruto replied calmly with a roll of his eyes. Rias felt frustrated seeing her idiot knight act so calmly. He just is pissing her off to no end. And it seems their arguing has caught the attention of both fighters. Irina puffed her cheeks cutely and glared slightly at Naruto. She didn't like the fact how close Naruto is to Rias. Yeah, right. Just what he need, one more troublesome girl that glares at him for no reason. During the fight, Issei was injured to the stomach by Irina's sword. The effect was immediately as he could feel strength leaving him. He couldn't even maintain his sacred gear and fall to the ground passed out. It seems the fight is over. I appreciate that you girls didn't kill my servants with holy swords. Rias stepped up to both exorcists. Then you would keep your part of bargain, right? Zenobia replied looking at Rias. Yes, of course. But I want to know, did you find out about which fallen angel stole those holy swords? Rias wondered curiously. We managed to find out that all those doings come from one of the leader of Grigori, Kokobile, Zenobia stated, which surprised Rias. Before us, there was the exorcist. But he was killed brutally, added Zenobia. Naruto helped Yuto to stand up as he could barely stand after the battle. With the help of Naruto, Yuto stood up and informed them. It was freed Selzen. Coincidentally, I witnessed his murder. And he is carrying a holy sword with him. A rogue exorcist, muttered Zenobia, narrowing her eyes. She then looked up at Yuto to thank him. I appreciate for that valuable information. Now we will leave. Issei-kun, if you want to die, come to me anytime, Irina said cutely and kissed her crest. She turned to Naruto and winked at him. And you